From the Daily Wire, the first thing I want to say is we routinely cover the demise of CNN and other cable news networks.
Amen.
And I wanted to make a joke about beating a dead horse, but it feels a little too close to literal in this regard because CNN is dying. But CNN falls to Food Network Hallmark channels in ratings battle following Trump victory. The ratings are so bad, they're now beneath Hallmark. And wow, the evening lineup averaged a total of 367,000 total viewers between 8 to 11. In comparison, Fox averaged 2.5 million. Understand, that is not key demo.
I mean,
That's overall 367?
Yeah, their key demo is 67,000.
Brutal.
Guys, we have more than that watching the show on average live, let alone the total viewership of the show.
People's tweets have more viewership. CNN hosts get more visibility from tweeting their stories than from being on air. Which is also crazy while they're all making seven figures, or now, in the case of Anderson Cooper, 8 figures.
This is actually pretty crazy, too. Fox News, in comparison, had 280,000 viewers during the key demo. And that's pretty nuts because we, as well as a lot of other shows, are absolutely crushing that. The scary thing is, to understand, while an episode of Timcast IRL may end up with about 600 to 700,000 viewers every night, it used to be that the top shows were getting 5 to 10 million in the key demo. But now it's completely decentralized. So there's some good there and some bad there. The good is that decentralization is largely healthier for a media diet. But it also means that my concern right now is that Fox, Disney, Comcast, everyone's like, oh, they're dumping all these big channels, right? Yeah, but Comcast isn't going to sit back and go, guess we lose. They're going to say, how do we buy into the space on YouTube? Mm-hmm. And then if they come into this space, you know, I look at what we've got here, and I was talking to friends about it. I'm like, we're like an indie label. We're a privateer. The East India Trading Company is around the corner. When they come in and claim the high seas, we're going to get crushed. So
right, if you could watch, if you're a big Fox News fan and you can't afford cable, but you can afford a YouTube, and they just did the ads on YouTube, if they could figure out a way to make that easy to watch it without a subscription, you could 1,000%. Jesse Waters would have tons of viewers.
Well, they do. They put the segments up, but it's not just
the segments. If you could watch it live on YouTube, if you could watch
right. Well, they have it's on YouTube TV if you're paying the subscription.
Right.
But what I'm saying is Fox is going to say, Jesse, we're launching your YouTube podcast. And we're going to put $20 million in your first year behind it in marketing because we are reclaiming the space. Well, then MSNBC is not going to just die off. Comcast is going to go to YouTube and say, we think you guys should have a prominently displayed featured channels bar when people go to youtube.com, and we'll pay you $100 million a year to be on that.
But think about the top 10 biggest conservative talents in America right now. How many got their start from Fox News?
Tim?
I mean,
it was a joke.
No, I thought he was asking a question. No, Fox News produced probably 7 of the top 10.
So,
8 of the top 10.
You saying Tucker?
Tucker, Megyn Kelly,
Tucker was
Glenn
on a bunch
Beck,
of channels before Fox News.
But he became a conservative titan because of when he was on Fox. Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck. You could go. What?
Is Coulter one of them? Ann?
No, but Ann never worked for Fox News.
Yeah,
but I'm talking. But like the O'Reilly's podcast is gigantic.
Yeah. Is it really?
It's huge. It's very big. I don't know if it's in the top 10, but it's on the list of like the top 50 of political podcasts. Last time I checked.
Well, top political podcasts or top podcasts?
It's up there. But the point is,
I think he's medium.
Okay. Well, whatever. He's mid. The point is that if you could do that, if you could go directly before they go independent and they could get, I don't know, a cut of it. Yeah, there's no reason.
Yeah, he is not a top podcast at all, actually.
Okay.
Which one, Bill? We're talking about?
Bill?
Yeah, he is not in the top 200.
Oh, wow. What is this?
In news, he's number 42.
Okay, that's where I saw him then.
But that's a pretty, like, news is a limited field.
Right, but he's also been off the air for 15 years. My point is that how many talent comes out of the Fox News world? But out of the Fox News world, a lot of conservative talent comes out of that. So before they go independent and they have the big enough audience to go independent, they can easily do that.
Yeah. Indeed.
I mean, I don't know that Fox has produced that many of the big ones, but I mean they've produced the biggest of the big.
They produced a lot of big ones, though. I mean,
look at what Tucker Carlson did after Fox News. That's like he's probably the biggest person that's come out of Fox News, right?
Right now, yeah, but it's. I mean, yeah, yes, right now, but the independent space is very young. You know what I mean? It's not like people have been doing this for 20 years about going on doing their own podcast. For right now, he's him. Megyn Kelly's huge. Ben Shapiro had a lot of things on there. Fox News definitely helped Ben Shapiro with his career. Charlie Kirk appearing on Fox News several hundred times definitely helped his career. A lot of people's careers have been immensely
Crowder was on
built.
Fox News.
Yeah,
And there hasn't
Tucker
been the same kind of there isn't the same kind of boost from CNN and MSNBC.
No,
Tucker is number 8 in the world.
When Jesse Waters used to talk about me being on CNN, more people had watched it from the Fox clip than from being on CNN. That was a regular thing. I never got hate mail while I was on CNN because no one ever watched the network. It was the clips on Twitter.
We are the 57th biggest podcast in the world. On Apple, we're not 156, but for all platforms combined, 57.
That's solid.
Tucker, I think, is 36 on Apple. But Apple, actually, this is kind of wild. When I first started, Apple was the big dog. Now YouTube is the biggest player in podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, YouTube is. And the ad dollars are all in YouTube now. It's wild.
Why is it people because they have to watch it on camera or they listen on audio?
So video is heavily preferred now for the format. So obviously in the early days, you turn it on and listen to it and do other things.
Right.
But with the video option,
Yeah, now you get the TV in your living room.
podcasting, for a lot of people now, it's just some people, when they have the choice, they'd rather watch a show like this with a video element to it.
Wow, okay.
That's why Spotify added it. Apple, they owned the space and they really let it down. And ad rates are dropping on the audio side and video side is starting to dominate. It's pretty nuts what's happening on YouTube now. And that's why my concern is coming into this next year, we're all laughing, going, ha, Comcast is selling MSNBC. And it's like, bro, Comcast is going to turn around and say, we're launching $1 billion endeavor into the podcasting space. And they can walk into YouTube's executive office and say how much money to cut all of these independent players out and give us the premium space. We'll tell you this, YouTube, you have a guarantee from us that all of the shows that run through our network will never violate advertisers and will get premium CPMs, which you get a cut on. And they're going to be like, deal. No longer does YouTube have to worry about demonetizing or dealing with some person saying a bunch of racial slurs. They're going to be like, yeah, we'd rather just cut a deal.
So they're not going to have Joy Reid on.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm just kidding.
My fear is, I don't know that it's guaranteed, but there is a strong probability that YouTube will easily give corporate interest benefit to the big networks who buy in because they already did it in the past. In 2018, there was this fake news that was released accusing a bunch of different YouTubers of being part of a nefarious network that was aligned with white supremacy. They claimed that this guy, Chris Raygun, for instance, who doesn't even really make videos anymore, he did video game and humor content, had collaborated with Richard Spencer. The two had never met. Didn't matter. YouTube lost its mind and immediately removed all of the channels from the recommendation algorithm. Instantly, every one of these channels that was either on the right or the left saw all of their channel recommendations turn into Fox and MSNBC. Or CNN. So if you were a liberal-leaning creator, YouTuber, and you make a video, before 2018, you would see on the right side a whole bunch of your other videos. After this PR campaign and adpocalypse, it turned into nothing but Fox News. If you went to Joe Rogan, it would be Joe Rogan and Fox News.
And the autoplay is a big part of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was largely it too. When we would go into our analytics, you would see so here's a graph showing all the recommendations, and then this one day happened and it all dropped down from like 18 to like 2%.
Wow.
So I've seen them do this, and I tell you, I believe strongly when they're talking about the Murdoch family wanted to be in the podcasting space and Disney. Comcast may nuke MSNBC, but what that really means is they're going to come to the space right now. And you've heard the liberal channels on YouTube screaming, why aren't we getting funding from this? The Democratic Party is going to reassess, and they're going to say, why didn't our media mechanism work? And they're going to say, because people are on YouTube. And then they're going to look to these liberal creators and say, how much money do we have to pay them to say our message? And those people are going to take the money in 2 seconds.
Heartbeat.
And they're going to go to YouTube and say, our network guarantees this, that, or otherwise. We're part of MSNBC or CNN, so you know it's safe. Already, if you go to YouTube and you search news, you're only getting cable TV YouTube channels. This is going to happen to podcasters in the next year or two, maybe 3, but it's coming. And I think people got to be prepared for that. They're not going to allow, dude. I am a mixed race high school dropout from the south side of Chicago who, through sheer brute force, built a show by just working 16-hour days. And I guarantee you powerful interests are sitting there looking at me being like, this guy helped Trump win.
Right.
He was talking to moderates the whole time saying Trump is the guy, and he helped cost us the election. We need to shut out people like him. And I see that coming.
Well, it's not even just people like you who are explicitly conservative, but what about all the comedians?
But I'm not explicitly conservative.
Explicitly political, I'm saying. What are all the comedian podcasters who never talked really about politics that much, who had Trump on their network.
They're going to fall in line in 2 seconds.
100%. Yeah.
These comedians largely refused to endorse Donald Trump until it became obvious in the public sphere that, like with the Bud Light and Target thing, they said, we can see the writing on the wall. We're shifting over. The Democratic Party and the neocon establishment political forces are probably saying those people will fall in line if we can maintain a dominant, like a ubiquity in culture. Independent voices rising up and dominating. Trump being a weird underdog anti-establishment billionaire was weird. They didn't want him to win. But now he owns the narrative. He owns the popularity contest. They've got to reverse that. They're going to put billions into this space to make sure, and it's going to be really easy. They won't ban us. They're not going to go to YouTube and say, ban that guy. They're going to go to YouTube and say, we'd like to run a $100 million ad campaign. Then the only thing you're ever going to see is the podcast individual personalities that appear authentic because they were cast to do so. It will work for the average person to be entertaining. It will have substantially more marketing and backing. It will be more appealing to individuals getting into the space. And then they're going to have bosses. And those bosses are going to say, look, we know you're deeply concerned about those issues right here, but we really do think this news is more important, and they're going to push people in the direction they want them to go. Then you're gonna get corporate press, Orange Man bad all over again, and it'll be YouTube.
I think part of the CNN numbers and the MSNBC numbers also do with the fact that when Trump won the popular vote, and that narrative was taken from them that it was the Electoral College and they stole it from you, yada yada yada. I think a lot of Democrats and progressives sat there and just like, I need to chill out. I need no more news. I need to sit there and there's no like major protests. There's no resist libs like there was in 2016, but they will be back. They will be looking for a voice. Absolutely. And if there is no Rachel Maddow show the way it is now, there will be somebody else who will sit there and do it for them in whatever platform they do.
Yeah, political activism isn't done just because Donald
exactly.
And when it comes to the left, like they worked very hard to get the gains that they've made, and they may have gone a little too far in the past 10 years or whatever, but that doesn't mean that they still don't want all the stuff, all of the initiatives that they've started and pushed a little too far on. They'll back up a little bit, and then they'll go ahead and start going again.
I have a Substack called the National Populist Newsletter, and I just wrote about this. There is in the states, right, in 2017, right when Trump won, New York had a Republican state Senate. Washington State did. A lot of states had. Connecticut was tied. They had a lot of very blue states had Republican legislatures that held a lot of crazy. Yep. Minnesota,
Pennsylvania did.
Minnesota did. Michigan did. All of that was lost over the last 8 years, especially in the 2018 wave. So the politics looks a lot crazier because in blue states that were already nuts, there was at least a few Republican-controlled, levers. That all went away, and that's why it looks completely insane now, and that's why the politics, as you said before, will be even further because they have nothing left in any of these places.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.